Extortion, betrayal, and a high-stakes legal showdown in the world of celebrity gossip. This isn't a Hollywood script. It's the real-life drama involving superstar comedian Kevin Hart and controversial YouTuber Tasha K. Welcome to Calling It Out with Tim Black, where today we dive deep into a story that blurs the lines between truth, fame, and the price of privacy. So we got Kevin Hart, a man whose name is synonymous with success and stardom, getting into a legal battle with Tasha K, a YouTuber known for her celebrity gossip BS stories that generate a lot of views, but it's really like light on like having a real point, other than, celebrity gossip. And all this is over what? An alleged demand for $250,000, $250,000 to keep a story out of the press, which involves Kevin Hart's former assistant. Now, Tasha K has over 1 million subscribers. She's no slouch. Her channel, Unwind with Tasha K, is a hotbed of controversy when gossip and news, and she stays doing her thing. Did she bite off more than she could chew with this one? Maybe so. Kevin Hart filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court. And look, it alleges extortion and the invasion of privacy. Kevin Hart says that Misha Shakes, which was his former assistant, made false statements about him and the personal relationship he had with someone. At some point in time, told that to Tasha K, and that's what they're trying to hold over his head to extort money from him. Hart claims that an unidentified affiliate of Tasha K reached out to him in November stating that an interview damaging his reputation would be published unless he paid $250,000. A ransom. The actor refused to pay, contacted law enforcement, and sent a cease and desist to Tasha K. In a letter, Hart's lawyers warned her that any damages she forced to pay as a result of her alleged misconduct won't be dischargeable in bankruptcy. So Kevin Hart's telling her, look, I got my lawyers in place, and when I sue you, you ain't gonna be able to just file Chapter 9 or Chapter 7. I'm gonna take everything. Hart claims that Shakes violated her confidentiality agreement and her non-disclosure agreement by discussing confidential business and personal information relating to Hart. Notwithstanding the truth and falsity of any such statements, Shakes would only have had knowledge regarding such subjects as a result of her employment with Hart. Shakes, who was employed by Heartbeat Productions from 2017 to 2020, as Hart's personal assistant said, there are unidentified loopholes in the confidential non-disclosure agreements that enabled her to escape the consequences of her brazenly violating her promises to plaintiffs. The suit says the NDA provided for her to pay $90,000 over 3 years. In the interview, she claimed Hart was a serial cheater, a gambling addict who paid an associate millions to take DUI charges for him. It was published in December on Keeb's website, Tasha K, which can only be accessed for a monthly subscription fee. As for allegedly defamatory statements, the suit only points to statements regarding Hart and certain legal disputes in which he recorded a video of a sexual encounter, and that he faced criminal charges regarding that supposed incident. Oh my goodness gracious. To prevail, Hart would have to prove that Shakes acted with a level of malice or recklessness necessary to meet the high standard for public figures to allege defamation. That easy to prove this. I think the extortion play is what's very serious. Not that I'm going to tell a story. You can tell a story. It's really on Miss Shakes to give you accurate information. But the thing is, the problem comes in when you say, hey, give me $250,000. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the $250,000 part. Whether it's false or true or whatever, that would depend on the validity of the statements made by Miss Shakes. Misha Shakes, the former personal assistant of Kevin Hart. Anyway, look at this is getting more and more contrived. It says here that Kibi faces claims of extortion, intentional interference with contractual relations, and invasion of privacy. Wasn't accused of defamation. In a statement, as representative of the YouTuber said, please watch the full interview. In 2017, Hart issued an apology for cheating on his wife with a woman who will also allegedly try to extort him. I'm going to say this. I sympathize with Tasha K. I sympathize with her because she's a business person, and this is the line of business that she chose to be in. I have not chosen that line of business because I don't want to have to do tabloid and report on people's the worst of their personal lives. It's one thing to talk about people's business or legislation or political views and how that impacts the world. It's a whole nother thing to talk about people's personal business and have to have those kinds of conversations that get really messy. And then you have to treat Hollywood people as if they aren't people. Like they're just brands and names without family and kids. So that in itself is just a horrible way to have to do business. But I understand it's very lucrative. And the downside is some of it is scumbaggy and some of it is dirty. And that's how this all feels to me. It feels kind of dirty. But I also got to imagine there must be some financial pressures that also facilitate having to do business this way. I don't know how many people tuned in to Tasha K, but there is a voracious appetite, a serious appetite of the public for this type of content, which is why Tasha K makes this type of content. So when people are indicting Tasha K for this, they might also want to indict America, in Canada, in Australia, I don't know, all the other countries that also partaketh of Tasha K's content. Because somebody's signing up to watch the videos, because this particular video with Maisha Shakes, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Misha, it's behind a paywall. So there are people that paid to see that. I haven't seen it, because I'm not going to pay to see anything like that. So that's the first thing. And that's me being very diplomatic, but also kind of reasonable. I'm in the business of creating content, and I have a media company. So I relate to portions of it. But on top of all of that, I got to say this. And I mean this with nothing but love, Sister Tasha K. You, part of what we do in the media game is we call out. I call out. This show is called Calling It Out with Tim Black. And this is my latest iteration, like kind of encapsulating what I do best, because I call out everybody. I call out politicians. I call out both sides of the aisle, but particularly the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is where most black people spend their political capital. This is where we spend our money and our time and our votes. So I hold a lot of Democrats accountable. And whether it's Cory Booker or Amy Klobuchar or Elizabeth Warren or Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or Jim Clyburn or any other politician, I have never, ever felt that I would contact somebody and give them the option of me not doing a hardcore story about them. Never one time did that even cross my mind. It's not that I'm a saint, but that would totally discount my credibility as a commentator, as a political analyst. If I was going to color my commentary based on someone giving me money or not. Anybody that I speak favorably of, that's the way I feel about them. I have bias, and I'm upfront about it. Dr. Cornel West, for instance. Senator Nina Turner, for instance. These people, I had a bias because I met them personally and I also agreed with their politics. But I never said, oh, I'm going to change my opinion to suit them. Get what I'm saying? So what Tasha K did when she went back and said, hey, if you give me $250,000, or when she had somebody approach Kevin Hart and say, hey, if you give us $250,000, this story goes away, that to me is the lowest of the low of the low. That is scumbag. That is dirty dealing. And that we have to call that out because that is what that is. See, if you're doing the public good, you just said, hey, the public deserves to know. The public has an interest in knowing who our celebrities are. Some would say that's just being nosy and that's just gossip, but there's a thin line because corporations, I want to know what corporations are doing. And if corporations are mistreating their employees, I would like to know that. Well, Kevin Hart is an employer. Kevin Hart is an entity. So there is an area there where you can say, hey, people deserve to know what kind of person Kevin Hart is if they want to patronize him, if they want to see his work, if they want to hire his companies. So I see that. But my thing is this, if you say I am a truth teller for the public at large, and I do the people's interest, then that should not be something that you would compromise, sister, because somebody slid you a couple dollars or $250,000. You should be unbought, unbossed, and unsold. And since you're not, based on this lawsuit, based on the allegations in the lawsuit, says a lot about you. In fact, folks, I'm going to go so far as to say the fact that Tasha K, if it's true, I don't need to get sued. If it's true that Tasha K was willing to take money over telling the truth, well, then she comes out as bad, looking as bad as Kevin Hart. Because to me, ethics matter. It matters what you're about. It matters what you will report. And it matters if you change your story for some paper. You ain't a truth teller anymore. You're just a hack. And that ain't good. All right, folks, put it in the comment section what you think about this. Put a 1 up if you understand what I'm saying. If Tasha K was willing to take money to be quiet about Kevin Hart, that would make Tasha K a low-down, dirty hack. Put a 1 up in the comment section if you think that's true. And put a 0 up if you think, nah, Tim, that ain't how it works. She's just doing her job. And people got to get paid. If you're a part of that crew, I want to know that too. All right, guys, that's it. My name is Tim Black, and this has been another edition of Calling It Out. If you're interested in content like this that calls it out straight, subscribe to this channel for more Calling It Out with Tim Black. I'll see y'all on the next one.
Calling It Out with Tim Black. The whole world's so sad. We live us so bad cause we don't get who we stab. Trying to get that bag.